Let's hear you, all of you. Come on. La 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 Shabbat Shalom. We're in this weird period of time of the year, and especially these 9 days. If you've noticed, just 3 days ago was Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the month of Av. And this coming Thursday is Tisha B'Av, which is the Jewish National Day of Catastrophe. We complain every day of the year, but there's one day that we really get to, and it's weird to have the Shabbat Chazon. The Shabbat before Tisha B'Av is always a Shabbat in which we have to still celebrate, we have to feel the joy of Shabbat, but at the same time we're feeling that heaviness of destruction. And I'll be talking about it later today with everything that is happening, especially in Israel, this sense that we're standing on this historical crossroad, where this balance between life and flourishing and death, destruction. So if this Friday night confuses you a little bit, because for one moment you're finding yourself smiling and for another moment you find yourself worrying, well, that's life. You know, one of the most beautiful teachings that I've shared with you many times here is that when Moses came down from the mountain and smashed the 10 commandments, the Torah doesn't tell us what happened with the remains of those commandments, with the broken pieces of that tablet. But the rabbis, they fill in the gap, and they tell us that in the Ark of the Covenant, where the people of Israel carried the 10 commandments and the Torah, they also had the broken tablets with them. This is what we are. This is who we are as a people. This is why we tell these stories, because they help us frame our lives in the light of what happened before us. So we all carry that sense of destruction. We all carry that fear of the worst that can happen, and at the same time we move forward with life, with love, with a sense of peace. And that sense of peace doesn't come just on its own. We have to bring it in. And so we turn to someone next to us and we wish them Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Turn to Yidit Nefesh. Open our souls up to page 10. Let's sing out with all we have. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai lai
Take a deep breath. Deeper. Fill it up all the way to the end of the lungs. And exhale your oi. Ah, that was such a beautiful oi. You know, it's when I do conversion ceremony, so of course there's a Beit Din, and you go through a tribune of 3 clergy, and then you go to the mikveh. But I always add something else. When the new person who joined our ranks comes out of the water, I said you have to pass one more test. Say oi. And when they say oi, now you know. That's it. You know you're Jewish if you said it from the kishkis, right? But on Shabbat, the goal is not to focus on the ois. On Shabbat, the goal is to focus on the joys. That little J, that little Jewish spell that gives us a joy. So let's share joys. Yes, Maggie. I was wondering who is sitting next to you. Welcome, granddaughter from California, Anna. Beautiful. Very, very nice. 64 years. Not of age, of marriage. Very nice. Are you sharing the secret? What's the secret to? Pick the right one. That's good. That's a good one. The Lipmans are here. Their daughter Alicia, that plays the flute for us so often, she's at camp, but it's her birthday tomorrow, so we're sending her happy birthday blessings in the air. We have our newest member over here. Welcome, Mr. Glassman. That's it. I knew. I was about to say Glasswasserman. No, but it can't be. It's Glassman. Norman, we're so happy that you're here, and it's really. And I hope that we bring lots of comfort and joy to your heart. I know that this is a time that you need community, so we're here for you. So that's good. Lori and Steve, welcome back from all your travels. Thank you for being greeters tonight. We have more simchas. Yes, Diane and Mort.
I've got a new knee.
You've got a new knee. 6 weeks old. Oh, she's so cute. Very nice. Very.
For Manchester, England, for a conclave of Jewish.
I'm just summarizing it as, you know, naches from grandchildren, going around the world, traveling, that's good. It always fills my heart and joy in seeing kids that I bar mitzvah. It must be, 7, 8 years ago already? Right? 10? Already? No, we're not that old. And they come home to the summer, and they come to services, and so we're so happy to see Ruby and Jessica and Lawrence over here. It's so nice to see you. Fill my heart with joy. More simchas. Yes, Perry. You turned 50? Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Very nice. That is definitely an achievement. Simchas once, simchas twice. Well, I think you all enjoyed. Oh, we have another simcha. Yes, Paul. Paul just started his 2nd year here. We're so happy you're here. And you all had another one big simcha. I think you all tasted. We have our new caterers, Ken and Lisa here. They were delicious. And now we just have to make sure that they can't hear you, but we'll let them know. But I think, and when I went to Ken, I told her that everything is so delicious. She said, you still haven't even seen the beginning of it. So there's definitely, we want you to pray on a full stomach, because we know that it's much better. And so for all the simchas in our lives, for all these joys, for being here together, we want to say thank you, Adonai. Thank you for entrusting us with life. Thank you for sustaining us with that good food. And if you can, please rise for the Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Let's do that one more time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. A deep amen. They're already standing, so turn to someone you don't know. If you have to walk a little bit to greet them, say hello, welcome them. Lori, please light the candles. Every week when you walk here, there's always a greeter at the door, making sure that no one here enters without a big Shabbat Shalom. And we try to reach everyone and to wish a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being our greeters, for making sure that everybody comes in here, feels welcome, sees the light of Shabbat. And I'm excited that we're going to Morocco together in 3 months. So we got a special large bush for Steve. Let's say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שעה. Steve, Lori, please grab the Kiddush cup. Come join us here as we all open to page 5. Our Kiddush that reminds us to take, if this is the only thing we do on Shabbat, is just to stand for a moment holding a glass of wine or grape juice or in our hand and appreciate that gift of making time sacred. Because all the other things, yeah, absolutely. But time is the most sacred thing we have. It's not stuff, it's not places, it's time. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for the time that you're devoting to Shabbat, to us. And we're going to say the blessing together on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri haga. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shavat kodsho be'ava u'b'ratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim. I'm sure we're going to learn some Sephardic nigunim for Nusach for this Kiddush in Morocco. If you're still interested on the Morocco trip, we have 1 or 2 seats available, so come see us afterwards and we will make sure to fill the quota of 18 So thank you, Lori. Thank you, Steve. Please open to page 13. Lechuna Ranena. Sorry, 12.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Yalla with me. Yalla la, yalla la, yalla la. Yalla la, yalla la, la. Yalla la, yalla la, yalla la, la. Yalla la, yalla la, la, la. Yalla la, 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 la. Lechuna ranena. Lechuna ranena l'Adonai. Naviga l'tzur yisheh. Kadma fanav letzvotav. Bismirot nariga lo. Bismirot nariga lo. Let us sing unto God. Join with me. Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Raise your voice. Yalla, yalla, la, yalla, la. Yalla, la, yalla, la, la. Yalla, la, yalla, la, yalla, la, la. Yalla, la, yalla, la, la. Yalla, la, 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 la.
So as we are welcoming Shabbat, something quite incredible is happening in Israel. Tens of thousands. On Tuesday there was a day of protest, and in a spontaneous way, Shikma Bresler is one of the leaders of this civic uprising against what is happening in Israel, decided to start walking to Jerusalem. Just like that. And in Israel, everybody has a WhatsApp, and she wrote, "Join me on this march to Jerusalem." They've been marching for 3 days. There are now tens of thousands of people that are marching, just walking up to Jerusalem, because for us as Jews, a pilgrimage to Jerusalem always indicated what is the most important thing for us. So back in the days when there was a temple 3 times a year, we went up to Jerusalem to feel closer to God, to sacrifice at the temple. And the word sacrifice means korban, to come closer to God. It was always Jerusalem that was that focal point of the things that mattered the most. And the fact that tens of thousands of Israelis are just marching now to Jerusalem, there was nothing organized. But tonight, it was beautiful. Before I came, I saw it on Facebook. From the West Bank, there's a group of, in Ma'ale Adumim, in Gush Adumim, of settlers who came with challahs, hundreds of challahs, to just give it to the people who are walking. And on each challah there was a sign that says, even beyond the green line, there are red lines. Which kind of indicates, even beyond the green line, there are red lines, meaning that this protest that is happening in Israel today is crossing party lines. It's not a partisan demonstration of one side against the other. It's Israelis who care about the future of their country. And now they're walking up to Jerusalem. They're going to arrive there tomorrow night, Saturday night, to stand and in front of the Knesset and say, this is, we need to do it differently. We might need to see changes, but those changes have to happen differently. And so today, in all heart, you know how much I love being here, but if I could be in that march now, I would transport myself straight there. But I can't. But what we can say, Romemu. We can sing that song that pilgrims have sang for thousands of years as they went up to Jerusalem, and remind ourselves that we too look at Jerusalem, and it helps us remind ourselves what are the things that really matter, what are the things that we should fight for, what are the things that are worth making our voice stand up for. Romemu, together, in honor of those marching to Jerusalem.
Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'nishkachanu le'ha'arko.
Bottom of page 17.
Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'nishkachanu le'ha'arko.
Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'nishkachanu le'ha'arko. Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu,
You guys ready? Let's hear you.
Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki
Kadosh Adonai
Eloheinu
Today we're going to ask all our post-day mitzvahs that had day mitzvahs here, and I see Ben joined as well, another one of our post-day mitzvahs, together with those who are about to have bar and bat mitzvahs, to join at the door, because we want to show you that just like we have continuation with Shabbat, this beautiful sense of continuation in Temple Judea with our youth before and after. So all of you who are having Bnei Mitzvahs next year or had them here in the past, come join me at the doors. We're on page 20 for Lecha Dodi. Come on. Shabbat tefila lecha dodi likra kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela lecha dodi likra kala b'nei Shabbat. Let's open the doors for Shabbat. עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובתהילה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Close the door. I just want to say, I want you guys to look around you, because all of you have something in common. You all were bar or bat mitzvah at Temple Judea, or are about to be bar or bat mitzvah, meaning that you chose this place to be this place that you express your ownership of Torah, your ownership of Judaism, your ownership of your tradition, and it's just so nice to celebrate it on Shabbat together with others. So may God always bless and protect you. Yevachachem Adonai v'yishmechem. May God always shine God's countenance upon you. May God always be gracious to you. May God always be present in your life and guard you and grant you peace.
לך אדוני מכלכלה ונשבת מקבלה לך אדוני מכלכלה ונשבת.
Please remain standing as we open our arks, the door of the arks, and open also the doors of our hearts to the possibility that we might feel that presence of God here tonight, here at Temple Judea, within us or around us. Just remain open to the possibility. It might or might not happen, but the aspiration for it to happen is enough for us to say Baruch Hu and to express our awe in front of the open ark. Be seated. We remind ourselves of the miracle of creation by turning to the first blessing before the Shema, the blessing of creation. It's on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being and skillfully opens the gates and thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. ומעביר יום ומהביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבים. This week we start reading the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim. It's the last of the 5 books, and it's really a book that is made out of 3 speeches that Moses gives to the people, in which he kind of recounts their stories from the time he met them in Egypt until where they are now. And it's there's a beautiful teaching in this week's Torah portion. Moses starts with recounting all the places that they have been. You've been here, and you've been here, and you've been here, and you kind of ask, why do I have to remind you where you've been? But Moses is not reminding them where they've been. Moses is reminding them really what they've done. Remember that place? I don't have to say it, but that's the place where you complained that there wasn't enough food. And remember that place? That's where you built a golden calf. And remember that place? That's the other place where you complained that I shouldn't be your leader. And there's a beautiful teaching of why is Moses not telling them what they did, rather reminding them their place, the place that it happened, because, and we'll talk about it a bit later today, one of the most important commandments in the entire Torah is to never embarrass someone in public. You might have criticism of someone. You might not like somebody, how they behave. You might want to say something to someone, but you could always do it in a respectful, kind way in private, not in public. And to stand and to tell the people, this is where you went wrong here, and this is where you failed there, and this is where you missed the mark there, is to embarrass them in public. Rather, he's just hinting, remember that place and allow them. So this is a great lesson that we can learn about what it means to truly love. If we can, it's not that we're not allowed to criticize others. It's not that we're not allowed to help others improve their behavior. But there's always a time and a place and a way to do so. And it's not by embarrassing them in public. And that is maybe what Ahavat Olam is all about, that kind of unending, unconditional love that we offer, God offers to us and we offer to others. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. And in the spirit of Temple Judea, in which we take full responsibility for our actions, we read on page 36 in first person, I shall love Adonai my God with all my heart, with all my soul, and with all my might. I will take to heart these instructions with which you charged me this day. I will impress them upon my children and grandchildren. I will recite them when I stay at home and when I am away, when I lie down and when I get up. I will bind them as a sign on my hand and let them serve as a symbol on my forehead. I will inscribe them on the doorpost of my house and on my gates. Thus I shall remember to observe all your commandments and to be holy to my God. You are Adonai my God, who brought me out of the land of Egypt to be my God. You are Adonai my God. Adonai Elohechem, amen. And I have to tell you, I did something for the first time this week. I went to Julian and David's home, the children of Leon and Rhoda that are sitting here, and we put a mezuzah on the kids' doors. And you know how you usually put a mezuzah up here, but Andy is, how old is she? 3? She's this tall. And I said, we shouldn't hang a mezuzah up there. She can't see it. So the mezuzah is hanging right over here. And so that she can walk in. And this morning, you shared with me, Rhonda, that she came out and you asked her, what's new? And she said, the mezuzah. And I said, the Shema. And it's so cute. So I love the kind of Judaism that we represent, the one that is flexible enough to hang a mezuzah low or high according to where you are in life. And if you don't have a mezuzah, or if you need a mezuzah, we would be more than happy to come to your house and hang one with you, for you. So please just let us know. It's one of the most beautiful things that we can do. Come to your home and share that with you. Let's sing together. Let's pray together. Mi kamocha on page 40.
גלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. So as many of you know, there's been some space in my house. My older 2 are off at sleepaway camp, and my youngest one gets to be the star. And it reminds me of really what is important in life. When you have someone missing from the room next to you, when you have someone that you can't just pick up the phone and talk to, realize what's important. That time, as Rabbi spoke about, those moments when they're close. And luckily with this prayer, it reminds me that if you just open your eyes and open your heart, you can be close to anyone. You can be close to them. You can find that link. And this repair prayer helps us stop in time and make that link. So let's do it together now. Whoever you're linking yourself with now, hold them tight and know that God is holding us as we pray. When I lay down at night, I rest my head. Oh God, watch over me and those that I love. And when morning comes, we thank the Holy One and pray for Him.
Turn to page 46. In a moment, we'll ask you to stand and face east to Jerusalem. And today, I just want to clarify what it is that we stand for when it comes to what is happening in Israel right now. It's not, the battle in Israel is not a battle over a judicial reform. It's not just a battle about how judges will be chosen or not. It's not a battle over technical issues of political decisions. It's a battle about the soul of the country. On one side, there are fundamentalists, messianic, ultra-Orthodox people who want a strictly religious Jewish state that puts Jewish lives in priority over any other life, who wants to treat Jews in a certain way, that not to extend that treatment to others. And when they say Jews, a certain kind of Jews, and my friends, we're not included in that kind of Jews. On the other hand, there are people who just want to continue to see Israel be what it was meant to be, the promise that those who signed that Declaration of Independence had in mind, a democratic, Jewish, liberal. When I say liberal, I don't mean left-wing Democrat. I mean liberal in that idea that it holds on high the rights of every man, of every woman, of every race, of every ethnicity, of every gender, of any sexual orientation, to be a whole person and to live in freedom and to enjoy the same rights as everybody else. That is really the battle that is happening. It's the judicial that will help one side or another, because today, unfortunately, in a country where there is no constitution, the only thing that can stop a government from saying we wish to act in a certain way are the judges, and the judges being able, the justices being able to apply reason. For example, if there is the government wants to appoint someone who was convicted twice in bribery and in tax fraud to be the Minister of Finance, every judge in the world will say that is unreasonable. But because that person happens to be in an Orthodox party in which the Prime Minister needs its help in order to rule, that might pass should this reform pass. And so, my friends, the battle is not against Netanyahu or for Netanyahu. It's not against his government. Netanyahu has been in power in Israel for over 20 years, and there were never protests in the way there are today. It's over the soul of the country. And Israel must, and I think we heard that warning very clear this week from our own government officials, Israel must remain a democratic, liberal, Jewish country. Otherwise, I don't want to finish that sentence because I don't believe it's going to happen. Because I believe that there's enough people, including us from here, that have that same goal and will fight for it, will stand and hold their ground. And so when you stand today, let's try and, I know that prayers are not always enough, but prayers are supposed to be that action that motivates you. And there are many ways that you can help. And let me know if you're interested, and I'll let you how. But to send that kind of support to our brothers and sisters in Israel from the West Bank and from proper Israel, from cities and from kibbutzim, Ashkenazi and Mizrahi, religious people. There are amazing photos of a Shacharit prayer service that took today where you saw religious Orthodox people with their payas and their tefillin together with the members of the LGBTQ plus community praying together, because this is one thing that unites us all. It's not a partisan issue. And so as we stand today, let's remind ourselves that we too from here stand for a liberal, democratic Jewish state of Israel. Please rise, page 46. Lai, 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 Adonai. Ya la lai, 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 svatai tiftach. Ya la lai, 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid teilatech. Take a few minutes for silent prayer and meditation. You can follow our Sidurim from page 46 to 62. On the right side with the traditional prayers, left side with interpretations, or just close them all together and give yourself that gift of a few silent moments where you're on your own but you're not alone, because everyone around you shares their values with you, their aspirations, their ethical understanding of the world. We're all together in it. And yet we're standing alone with our own prayers and wishes. So let's take a few moments to listen to our hearts and soul. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its purpose. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Shalom. HaYisrael Amcha.
Our healing talit is open. And I invite you to step under the healing talit if you're in special need for healing today. If there's anyone here that feels that they can use that energy that accumulates here under the healing talit, don't be afraid. Step under the talit. And if you're not under the talit, make an effort to come a bit close to maybe the person in front of you and put your hand on their shoulder. Just close this circle of togetherness. Just to allow us all to enjoy all the energy from this entire sanctuary to come here into the center. Take a moment with a deep breath to think of all the people in your lives, those who are suffering physically, those who are suffering from mental health, those suffering spiritually, maybe in despair, those who suddenly found themselves alone after decades of companionship, those who today more than ever miss a loved one. We're here to remember them. There's all kinds of different sorts of healing, and we're here to offer that to everyone who needs it. So please whisper the name of the person you're praying for or thinking of. It can be you. And let's pray together. Our God and God of our ancestors, on this week of Tisha B'Av, which we remember the pain of destruction, when we remember what it means to lose everything that we have, please help us never lose one thing, which is hope. Hope that we can be better, hope that we can help others be better, feel better, do better. Adonai, because when you are with us, you give us that strength to heal ourselves and to heal others. And so we say, Adonai, our God, hear our prayers for healing. Ki el shomet tfilah, tabaruch ata Adonai shomet tfilah. Amen. Look around you. Somebody could use a hug. Make sure it's with consent. Before you hug. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please have a seat. On Thursday, on Tisha B'Av, this story that I'm going to share with you is going to be read and told and taught in synagogues and in schools and in community centers all around the world. And some of you might have heard this story, and if you have, it's great because it's an important story to hear again and again. And every time, like any other story of our Jewish wisdom, when you hear it, you see a different angle. Actually, when I was in Hartman just 2 weeks ago, we studied this story once again and once again. Although it was a story that I thought I knew in and out, found new things that you could learn about it. And so I want to share a little bit with you. And the story is from the Gemara, which is that compilation of oral Torah happening a little bit less than 2,000 years ago. And it's told in such accuracy that I want you to kind of see it happening. We don't know if this happened or not, but it's told in such details that either you're a great storyteller or you really saw it and you can really describe what you saw. And so the story is about two guys, and this Gemara says Jerusalem was destroyed on account of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Kamsa is one guy, Bar Kamsa, the son of Kamsa, could be related to each other. And Kamsan means stringent, somebody that has his hand like this, a kamatz, like somebody who's like tough. Who's not giving, who's not loving, who's not caring. So what is the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa? There was a certain man whose friend was named Kamsa and whose enemy was named Bar Kamsa. So one guy has a friend who's Kamsa and an enemy who's Bar Kamsa. And once he made a large feast and said to his servant, "Go bring me my friend Kamsa." And the servant went and mistakenly brought him Bar Kamsa. Ay, ay, ay. Every good story, right, begins with a plot that there's a misunderstanding. So here we have this feast, and this host of the feast is going to have in his feast his enemy Bar Kamsa instead of his friend Kamsa. And so the man who was hosting the feast came and found Bar Kamsa sitting at the feast. And the host said to Bar Kamsa, "You are my enemy. What then do you want here? Arise and leave." Kind of a normal response, right? You don't belong here, leave. But Bar Kamsa is already sitting there. Who knows why he came? Maybe he thought that this man was trying to offer him some kind of a friendship tribute. Maybe he said, "You know what? Let's kind of start all over again." Maybe he just came because he wanted to. We don't know why he came. But anyways, he's over there and he says to him, "Since I've already come, let me stay and I will give you money for whatever I eat and drink. Just don't embarrass me by sending me out." We just read from Moses, right, from Devarim, embarrassing someone in public. So imagine that suddenly I discover, "Oh my God, you're from Temple Beit Am? Get up, leave." I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that, right? I can't embarrass you like that. So the host, and so he offers to pay, and the host said to him, "No, you must leave." So Bar Kamsa said to him, "I will give you money for half the feast." So he's like, "I really don't want to be embarrassed like this. I'll pay for half the people here." And a feast is a feast. You know, if you've been to a wedding in Israel, 600-800 people easily. So it's like a lot of money. "And just do not send me away." And the host said to him, "No, you must leave." And Bar Kamsa said to him, "I will give you money for the entire feast. Just let me stay." And the host said to him, "No, you must leave." And finally, the host took Bar Kamsa by the hand, stood him up, and took him out. So just imagine this horrible situation. So after being cast away from the feast, Bar Kamsa said to himself, "Since the sages were sitting there and did not protest the actions of the host, although they saw how he humiliated me, I learned from that they were content with what he did. And I will therefore go and inform against him to the king." So basically, now we learn that in that room there were also rabbis. There were also leaders of the Jewish community. There were important people there that at any given moment could have come to the host and say, "Hey, come aside a moment. Let's talk about this. You're really doing a mistake here. Come on, let the guy stay. He's willing to pay for the entire feast. Let your ego go a little bit." And yet the rabbis and the leaders said nothing. And so he said, "You know what? Then they deserve what's coming to them." And so he went to the emperor, okay? And he said to the emperor, the Romans are in the country, that the Jews have rebelled against you. And the emperor said to him, "Who says that this is the case?" And Bar Kamsa said to him, "Go and test him." So the emperor isn't sure. He doesn't believe. He says, "Let's test him. What are you going to do? Send them an offering to be brought in honor of the government and see whether they will sacrifice it." And so the emperor went and sent them with the choice of a 3-year-old calf. So basically what Kamsa has this entire plan. We're going to send the temple a calf. We're going to say, sacrifice this in honor of the king. But then what happens is that on the way to the temple, Kamsa takes a little knife and cuts a little piece of the lip of the calf. Why does he do that? According to Jewish tradition, when there's a cut in the lip of the calf, you can't sacrifice anymore. It has a blemish. But according to the Romans, that's not considered a blemish. Basically, he is setting them up to fail, either way, it's a lose-lose situation. If they sacrifice, and so this is what happens. And so therefore, so Rabbi Zechariah ben Avokanas said to them, if the priests do that, the sages thought to sacrifice the animal as an offering due to imperative to maintain peace with the government. The rabbis at the temple, right, they said, we know it has a blemish, but you know what? Peace is more important than the sacrifice. So we're going to sacrifice it anywhere. And then suddenly this guy, and we'll talk about him for a moment, Rabbi Zechariah ben Avokanos said to them, if the priests do that, the people will say that blemished animals may be sacrificed and be offered. What are you doing, guys? You're going to destroy this entire system that we have in the temple, that you cannot sacrifice animals that have a blemish. And so they're like, oh, right, we can't do that. So, but if we can't do that, what do you have to do then? We have to kill Ben Kamsa. Because if we don't kill Ben Kamsa, he's going to go tell the Romans. And so Rabbi Zechariah says, wait a moment, but if you kill him, people will say that one that makes a blemish on a sacrifice animal is to be killed. And so they don't kill him. And they let him go. And he goes and he tells the emperor. And then it says, and consequently, and Bar Kamsa's slander was accepted by the authorities. And consequently, the war between the Romans and the Jews began. So what do we have here? Why is this so important? Why are the rabbis saying that Jerusalem was destroyed because of this story? It's an open question, a real question. Why? What happened here that is so awful? Karen? The rabbis? The rabbis should have been more humble. They wanted to be right. The price to be right, you know, there's a phrase that I like saying a lot. My kids will maybe one day write it on my tombstone. You could be right or you could be smart, right? You could be right or you could be smart. This is exactly that. They wanted to be right, but they couldn't be smart. Because if you're right, you sometimes have to give away common sense. That is one issue of this story. What's another issue? What else is, yeah, John?
This is like the story when Dina goes out, when judgment goes out. Right? So the story begins because someone makes a mad judgment. And he does something terrible to throw somebody out. But it goes from that.
It goes from, so first of all, things start deteriorating. It all starts from my inability to shrink my ego a little bit, to accept the fact that there's someone that I might not like that has already come, and not to embarrass him. This inability to make that right choice at the right time that starts this circle and so on. So why are we telling this story today? Because, my friends, I've never been so afraid. I have never in my life been so afraid. This week is, and I don't want to over-exaggerate it, but I can't under-exaggerate it. We are standing, I grew up on stories of Yom Kippur. Actually, today when I was driving here, I was trying to remember, and suddenly I had this vision that I didn't have I was 4 years old when the Yom Kippur War started, and today I remembered something. I remembered how my father, we went down to the parking lot where our cars, and we had to paint the lights of the car with blue. Because at night, when you turned on the car, you had to make sure that there wouldn't be any air raids on, and so there's no lights in order that I suddenly remembered that. So I lived under that fear of the Yom Kippur War, of this is about to be a destruction of the state of Israel, and people are saying today that we are back at that stage. This week is going to be a crucial week to the future of the state of Israel, and I can only say that today because yesterday something happened that never happened before in Israel. 1132 pilots and people of the Air Force signed a petition that basically said, not a petition, a letter to the government that said basically, if you continue forward with these reforms, we will stop volunteering. Everybody in that stage, they're not drafted in that idea that they have to sit in prison if they don't go to the army. They said, we will stop volunteering. It is very clear that someone in Iran and somebody in Lebanon and somebody in Gaza and somebody all around the world where our enemies are sitting is very happy to hear this, because when 1,132 pilots and technicians and rescue people and so on say they will not volunteer anymore, that means the Israeli army is losing its ability to protect Israel. Period. The army will not. And earlier this week, Netanyahu said something that really shook the foundations of Israel, and he said, oh, we can do without a few pilots, but we can't do without a government. And the people of Israel are saying, excuse me, Sir Prime Minister, we can't do without the pilots. We probably can do much better without this government. My friends, it's not a matter of laugh. It's really a crossroad. And my hope right now, and I want to finish with one last sentence that I didn't tell you over here. Rabbi Yochanan says, the excessive humility of Rabbi Zechariah ben Avakalus destroyed our temple. Rabbi Yochanan, this is that new teaching that I even learned this week, that it's not because of sinat chinam, it's not because of the hatred between the host and Bar Kamsa, it's not because the rabbis didn't stand up and stop this at time. It's because good people who should have been able to say something, to stand and to express an opinion. Rabbi Avukolas had an opinion, but he didn't stand firm on his opinion. He didn't say what really matters. He was too humble. He was too humble. There is no place for humility right now. And my hope, and I guess that the hope of everyone, is that this week there will be parliament members from the coalition that, like happened 3 months ago, that will stand up and say, you know what? This is not worth it. A judicial reform is not worth what is happening in Israel. To bring the Air Force to a place where it can't protect Israel, let's just stop for a moment. We don't have to cancel it, but we can do this slowly. We can do this with consensus. We could do this with negotiations, and not in this feel of one side trying to shove a policy down the throat of all the rest of Israelis. It just happens to be that this is taking place in the week that we are remembering the destruction of 2 temples. And I'm afraid to think about the parody of why is it happening this week. Are we going to say that the destruction of the 3rd temple started this week again in Israel? I don't want to believe that that's possible. I think that the people of Israel from all sides, as I said, Ashkenazi and Sephardic, religious and not religious, men and women, young and old, are proving that they love Israel too much to let it fall apart because of what this government is trying to do. And I am optimistic. You know, when we read Torah on Tisha B'Av, we read the prophecies of Isaiah, of Ezekiel. They're called Nevuot Nechama. They are prophecies that end with optimism, that despite the fact that we're going through a really difficult time, despite the fact that this is once again something threatening to destroy us, somehow history has proven to us that we kind of always get it right at the end. And somehow we continue to survive. And all around Israel, and tonight here as well, we'll sing a song that has become the anthem of Israel lately. It's a song written by Corinne Al, and it basically says, Ein li eretz acheret. I don't have another land. Gamim admati bo'eret. Even if my land is burning, there is no other place for us. There's no other Israel. Not for those living there and not for us whose our lives are attached to it. And even if my country changes its face or changes its essence, I will keep fighting for it because Ein li eretz acheret. I have no other land. Ein li eretz acheret, gamim admati bo'eret ra, mila be'ivrit poteret el oker et nishmati beguf ko'ev be'lev ra'ev. Kan hu beiti we prepare to say Kaddish, just a few quick announcements. On Thursday, Tisha B'Av, please join Rabbi Feivel at 10:30 a.m. after Minyan for a Tisha B'Av program unveiling the Holocaust narrative through art and storytelling. There's going to be a video and a discussion of the classic work of Mouse by Artem Spiegelman. So it's a day that we talk about these kinds of things. So please join us 10:30. You can come to Minyan before. And August 6th at 3:30, we have a summer concert that is a member appreciation. It's for members only. So this is your opportunity, if you're not yet, to join us. And we are going to have Pam and Dave with food and drinks and a lot of fun. We always do that in the summer for those who are here to really say thank you and how much we appreciate your membership. So those are two announcements. And now we turn our attention to those who have been taken from us in recent weeks. Nancy Cohen, wife of Martin Cohen, Charles Feldman, husband of Sheila, who passed away this week and was brought to his eternal resting place this morning. Samuel L. Frieder, brother of Dick Frieder, and Fred Weisberg, father of Perry Weisberg. We also remember those who passed at this time in seasons past. And if you're a mourner and you hear the name of your loved one, we invite you to rise so that we can hug you, even virtually, and offer you that love that you so need. We remember Max Ackerman, Max Adelman, Abraham Alperstein, Rose Bluth, Ira Dinerman, Jerome Farber, Laura Friedman Weiss, Shirley Ginsberg Stein, Sidney Good, Joel Green, Al Heifetz, Sarah Halpern, Herbert M. Harris, Sylvia Hirschman, Herman Katz, Joseph Kinner, Sally Quicktoe, Sarah Langer, Jill Lauren, Joshua Evan Levine, Ann Lutner, Ralph Madoff, Yaakov Make, Janet Mauser, Ruth Maytal, Arthur Metzger, William Meyer, Michael Mortman, Jacob Pan, Sol Present, Phyllis Queller, Esther Richmond, Sandra Russick, Robert Schechner, Ada Schilling, George Schwartz, Bernice Simon, Albert A. Singer, Sylvia Slott, Miriam Unger, Ann Wagner, Lynn Warshow, Benjamin L. Weisbein, William Weisberg, and Louis Yesnick. I apologize if I mispronounced the name. I invite you to rise and add names to our Kaddish list. And we'll all stand together in support of those who are mourning. Kaddish on page 294. Itkadal ve'itkadash shemei rabba be'alma divrach re'utei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomeichon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam olmei olmaya. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. May the God who is in the heaven and creates harmony in the heavens help us create harmony among us. Help us find peace within ourselves, peace with others. Help us find a common ground on which we can all continue to work together for what are our common goals, to which we say, Amen. And we invite you, of course, to leave today, hopefully with a sense of joy that inspires you to act. If you wish to know what you could do to help with this situation in Israel, let me know. I'll let you know. If it's anything else that inspires you, you leave here today inspired to make somebody's life a little bit better, somebody's just to try and add some light to this world. I hope that we have inspired you to try a little bit harder and do a little bit more than you used to, because that's what we're here for. We're here so that we leave here and the Temple Judea serves as a source of goodness in the world. And we're going to continue to remind you and to help you and to find those opportunities where we as a congregation can work harder and harder to create a better world all around us. Ivdu et Adonai b'simcha. Thank you, Kent Rabbi.
but I saw